Hello, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com. Good to see you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is post-Raw number 115. My goodness, wow. Nice little round number there. 115. I like that. Wow, it feels like the 100th show just happened already. We're at 115, so that's kind of amazing. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We actually have a pretty good Raw to talk about tonight, which I'm actually really happy to say. I mean, I should preface that with saying that there was some really bad stuff on the show too. But I'm a wrestling fan at the end of the day. I think, we all kind of got into watching this because we enjoyed wrestling. Yeah, we enjoy the characters and all that stuff too. But we enjoy watching those characters wrestle. And, you kind of get into wrestling as the thing that's on the marquee, you kind of, World Wrestling Entertainment. That's what WWE used to stand for, at least before they just changed it to WWE, period. They did a lot of wrestling tonight. I'm not complaining about that. I'm happy about that. Wrestling is why I watch this show. So we had about an hour of just straight wrestling tonight. So you can throw as many fakes, pregnancy angles as you want as well, and do as much Fiend garbage and pentagons and pentagrams and stuff like that. I don't care. As long as there's a good amount of wrestling, I can live with the bullshit. I really can. All right, before we get into this show, Victoria will be joining us momentarily. She is putting the baby to bed right now. The baby had a long day, and she had a little trouble going to sleep tonight. So Victoria's taking care of that. So I'll be handling the first portion of this show. But there are a couple things that I know Victoria definitely wants to talk about. I'm sure you can guess if you watched the show tonight or followed along with my recap, which I don't see why you wouldn't want to follow along with my recap. It's, I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but it's really good, and it also saves you from having to watch the show if that's something that you've been trying to avoid. I know there's a certain dear friend of mine that has went about 1,400 days without watching Raw. So there you go. That's a pretty good run right there. All right, let's say hello to everybody in the chat room. All right, so we got I Am Alpha in the chat room. We have Jamel. Hello. And we have Quentin Walters, our dear friend Quentin Walters. Doug Lackey, host of Wrestleview Weekly, is in the chat room today. My goodness. Good stuff. Daniel Shale is here. Good Gauntlet Match, by the way. Daniel Shale knows his stuff. Pentagons, pentagrams, whatever they are. Those evil witchy things that they were doing here tonight. Andrew Elder, 36 years of watching this stuff. Yeah, there you go. 36 years. It's a long time to be watching. Michonne Walls. We haven't gotten any weather out here. We've been getting pounded here lately with massive snowstorm after massive snowstorm. I think I already told the story about I got a snowblower. Because we just bought this house. Obviously, everybody knows our situation, but we got a snowblower in December for the first snowstorm that we got, and I was like, oh, that was great to use a snowplow. It was so easy to use, and I was like, I hope we just have one more snowstorm so I can use this snowblower one last time. And now we've just been getting hammered with snowstorm after snowstorm. I don't even have anywhere to put the snow. So as I saw, Texas got hammered today, which is never happens. There's ice storms all around the country. Power outages galore. We didn't get anything today. Now, allegedly on Thursday, we're supposed to get about 5 to 8 inches. But if they're saying 5 to 8 inches now, legitimately that could be a foot of snow by Thursday. Because a week ago on Sunday, they told us, you're just going to get a light little dusting, maybe an inch or two. And then all of a sudden, a squall came in and we got 6 inches, out of nowhere in an hour. It was insane. I was at church at the time, and I was trying to drive home in this stuff, and I literally was slipping and sliding everywhere. It was super dangerous to be outside, but I had to get home. Anyway, so we didn't get any weather out here yet, but I know it's coming. Let's see what else we got here. We have. What did I just see? Oh, Grash is here. Grash, your eyes is here in the chat room as well. All right. And Jerome Weiland our awesome news reporter for Wrestleview. He's doing an excellent job for us. Kit Dyson's here. Oh, man. We got a lot of people here. Uncle Billy, of course. Billy Hefner is here. All right. So, Raw. So, we have a pay-per-view this Sunday. Honest to God, I did not watch the NXT show last night. There's absolutely no way. If I wanted to be on for this show, there's no way that I could have lived through recapping pay-per-view on Valentine's Day. I got a lot of emails like, oh, is there going to be why is there no recap for NXT TakeOver on? It's like, look, some people that work for wrestling sites have significant others. You know, we go out for Valentine's Day. Now, granted, we didn't go out for Valentine's Day this year because, well, it's a pandemic. All right, I lied a little bit. There was a restaurant that we did go to. It was a steak place. We walked in, and yes, they increased the capacity to 35% in New Jersey, but this restaurant was at 100%. I mean, there were people just on top of each other, maskless. We sat down for 2 minutes. I could see on Victoria's face she was not comfortable. I was not comfortable. And we got up and left. And we wound up having the most romantic Valentine's dinner ever by having White Castle. I thought it was a great trade-in for me. Although there was a $115 Wagyu steak on that menu. I don't know if that would have been better than White Castle, but one day we will return when there are less people there. What can you do? Hey, we got Roy here tonight. Mike picked Valentine's Day over wrestling. How dare I? Yes, I certainly did. And Jamel watched TakeOver because his date canceled. Oh, that's sad. I heard it was good. I heard it was very good. But I like living, and I think Victoria would have killed me if I recapped that show over spending Valentine's Day with her. So White Castle it was. It was a lot of fun. Actually, we had a really great day. All right. But TakeOver looked good. I look forward to watching it later. I'm definitely going to check it out, especially because I'm off again tomorrow. We have a nice long weekend with the President's Day, so it's pretty sweet. We're rocking and rolling right now. All right. So let's talk about this episode of Raw. We have a pay-per-view on Sunday. Again, another pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber. And I don't know. Is Elimination Chamber a bigger pay-per-view than the Royal Rumble? No, of course not. The Royal Rumble is like one of the biggest pay-per-views that WWE does all year. But the build to Royal Rumble was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Their go-home show, for Raw's go-home show for the Royal Rumble, like you wouldn't, if you watched that show, you wouldn't have even known there was a pay-per-view that weekend. You would have no clue. The go-home show for Elimination Chamber, like, not only do I know there's a pay-per-view this weekend, I'm super psyched to watch this pay-per-view this weekend. They did a really good job building this up. I'm even kind of excited to see Lana and Naomi versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Now, a lot of that has to do with my hole, but I don't know. I thought they did a really good job tonight. There was one thing that really sticks in my craw that to me isn't a good thing. But for the most part, this was a successful show. Involved in rare cases where the storylines actually make sense and logic is being employed, and it's in a super strong way. Okay. So I guess we should talk about the big news first. And I'm not gonna talk about it too much. I'm gonna wait for Victoria to get here to kind of, pick it up, the conversation. But tonight in a storyline, well, it was a storyline initially, Lacey Evans was teaming with Peyton Royce, with Ric Flair at their side, to take on Charlotte Flair and Asuka, the former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Throughout the whole entire match, Lacey Evans refused to tag in, would not get in the ring with Charlotte Flair, playing chicken shit heel. And before the match, she had said, "Oh, I'm going to," because she was booked to face Asuka this Sunday at Elimination Chamber. She says, "Oh, I can't wait to beat Asuka. I can't wait to beat you, Asuka, for the Raw Women's Championship. That's something I've wanted for a long, long time." And then she's refusing to tag into this match. And I'm like, okay, she's playing chicken shit heel. And then all of a sudden, she's Charlotte, Lacey, Peyton Royce tags Lacey Evans in. Lacey's backing away, and Charlotte's demanding she gets in the ring. Charlotte goes after her, and Lacey Evans goes, "You're not going to put your hands on me because I'm pregnant." And it was like, really? It was almost the exact same thing they did with Maria Kanellis, who was, in fact, actually pregnant. And I was like, and they insinuated right away, Ric Flair was shouting, "Call me daddy, call me daddy." And I was like, oh my God. They're doing a storyline with Ric Flair as the father of Lacey Evans' child. And I was like, in my head immediately, I'm thinking like, okay, this is more white trash television, the Bruce Pritchard security blanket. We don't know how to book women, in good storylines. So they always wind up being cheaters, homewreckers, vixens. They wind up pregnant, and then it winds up being somebody else's, or they fake the pregnancy. There's like always like these like bad storylines. They really need strong women on their writing staff. The women wrestlers, for the most part, are good, but storylines for women are just not strong. They always they always book a baby face, for the most part, to be crying and really like, I'm the champion. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It's like, there's like, they don't really book women to be like super strong, like at least from, what I've seen through the years. And, turns out Lacey Evans is legitimately pregnant. First reported by PW Insider, confirmed by Meltzer. It's all around the internet now. She is legitimately pregnant. Now, the fact that they tease that Ric Flair is the father kind of scares me a lot, because that means that Lacey Evans might not be going away for a while, and we might be doing this thing where they're teasing Ric Flair as the father. Now, initially, I thought this was just going to be a storyline. And because this company really doesn't have a lot of patience, I thought next week Lacey Evans is going to come in. She's going to be 35 weeks pregnant. They're going to be throwing a baby shower already. They're going to hot shot the baby so it's born at the Fastlane pay-per-view, and we can do this match at WrestleMania, because that's just how we do it. It's like, biology doesn't exist in WWE. We'll just have her be 35 weeks pregnant next week. It'll be fine. But my concern is, though, and I'm this is not to shame Lacey Evans at all. This is so if it comes off this way, I'm just prefacing it's not how I'm meaning it to come off. But how can you get pregnant, in the 7 days since she had her last match against Charlotte, which was actually a pretty physical match. They were taking, some pretty good bumps. There was a lot of forearms being thrown, kicks to the midsection. Like how could you conceive during the week, think like, oh my God, we might have conceived, take a pregnancy test that is accurate, and then within 7 days. Like, I know when Liliana was conceived, I don't mean to be gross here, but when Liliana was conceived, it was a few weeks. It was a few weeks before we even realized that like something was going on. We never even thought for like 2 seconds that would be the case, but apparently, it was. And obviously, God bless us. God blessed us with a wonderful little girl who, by the way, we were told before she was born that she would never walk, or it would be extremely difficult for her to walk because of where the defect on her spine was. And this past Friday, Liliana decided to just get up and just start walking. So we are very, very blessed with an awesome little girl. But we didn't know, within a week of conception. So kind of interesting how that all happened. Now, especially when you're in a performance art like wrestling, you have to be like so careful. I would assume you would want to be careful with any intercourse that you have to make sure that you don't get pregnant, and then you're not like unknowingly pregnant while wrestling, because that could be a potentially bad thing. So I hope I hope she did conceive this week, and it was after the Charlotte match, and there's no issues with the baby. Now on the flip side, I heard that you can get pregnant early on and basically like fall down the stairs, while pregnant early on, and nothing could happen to the baby. So there's that too. I mean, maybe it's possible she was pregnant last week while wrestling Charlotte Flair. I don't know. Victoria, we'll talk about that later, but that's definitely some news. Obviously it's not as not as big as the Becky Lynch stuff. Becky didn't know she was pregnant either, but they knew when they taped Money in the Bank in April that she was definitely pregnant because they kept her out of basically everything. I think she got pregnant probably early on in April after the WrestleMania tapings. Because remember, they taped WrestleMania. They taped a whole bunch of stuff in, I believe it was like a 6-day period. And then they took a few weeks off. So Becky Lynch was never like in any like true danger of like, being pregnant while wrestling. But here it's a different story. I don't know. But, oh good. I heard the baby's door closed. So Victoria will come and bail me out here. But yeah, she is pregnant. She is married. She's 30 years old. She already has a daughter that has appeared on television before, who they no longer talk about, but she was there when they were trying to make Lacey Evans into a face. So we got that going on. So hopefully they don't make this completely tacky and tasteless and, tease that Ric Flair is the father, because that is one image, I don't want to have in my head at all. Especially because if you think about Ric Flair's body from 12 years ago when he was still wrestling and how droopy everything was, I don't want to imagine what 12 years has done to it. And it's kind of going into my head right now. So very bad, very bad. Anyway. So Raw kicks off with a really logical, good storyline involving The Miz. How about that? John Morrison mysteriously not here tonight. He allegedly is recording a track for Bad Bunny. But I think at this point, we all know when someone's not on the show and they have some bogus reason for them not being on the show, that something is afoot here. So I don't know where John Morrison is. I hope he's well. I hope he's okay. But he was not on the show tonight, and they gave the most BS excuse ever. Miz has Drew McIntyre on the show, and basically what he does is just kind of teases him, saying like, oh, you could lose the Elimination Chamber, you can lose the WWE Championship beside the Elimination Chamber this Sunday. The odds are stacked against you. He keeps needling him. McIntyre threatens him, don't keep talking because you're going to get it. And he keeps talking, so he gets it. A Glasgow kiss right in the face, and Drew McIntyre leaves. I was like, okay, basic paint-by-numbers storyline. Whatever. Basic Miz TV segment. Not bad because they weren't doing all the goofy stuff with John Morrison there. But it was just, it's nothing special. And then all of a sudden, Miz cuts this promo about, Edge told me that, I'm playing old maid while he's playing high stakes poker, and he's going to survey the landscape before WrestleMania to see what champion he wants to face. He goes, well, I have the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm in the driver's seat here. I can be in control. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to survey the landscape, and instead I'm taking myself out of the Elimination Chamber. And I was like, that makes a lot of freaking sense. That makes a ton of sense. A ton of sense. Why would The Miz, who has the Money in the Bank briefcase, want to be in the Elimination Chamber? Why wouldn't he be waiting outside of the chamber to see whoever emerges from this battlefield as the champion and take the title from them with the Money in the Bank briefcase? I cannot believe that with how poorly they have booked The Miz in the last few months. He's been awful. He's just been getting beat left and right. He's been being booked awful. And now all of a sudden, they do something super smart with him. Oh, here comes Victoria. She's already grunting. I'm complimenting him, actually.
You just were rude just now.
No, because he was bad. He was bad. He was bad. He was bad.
Hold on, give me a second.
All right, get yourself arranged here. I mean, but if this was like real life, that's what you would do. If you would like anybody who had this giant advantage, why would you ever want to be in a dangerous match like that when you could easily cash in right after? All right, are you ready?
I think so.
All right, everybody.
Check.
I present to you Victoria, whose camera is all messed up because she wasn't down here to
Sorry.
do it
I
earlier.
apologize.
It's okay. It's okay. Liliana, go down all right?
So we've been telling you guys about how she's been teething. So we actually had to doctors you have to brush her teeth,
Oh my God, this was a nightmare.
Now that she has actual teeth, you have to brush them. So Mike and I took the daunting task of brushing her teeth tonight, and she did not like it. She flipped out. But I will say this though, we definitely were successful because she's very minty. So
Yes. Although half of it got on her face, so that could have been what was going on too. Miz was really good tonight, was he not?
Yeah, he was. Honestly,
really good.
This
is the Miz I want to see.
I know you spoke. Well, I know you just spoke about like John Morrison. I've been saying that though, and I said
it's John Morrison. I didn't. Honest to God, I didn't realize that it was really like John Morrison dragging them down. I thought it was just like, oh, they wanted them to do the dirt sheets, shtick from 12 years ago.
In fairness to
we don't need to see that.
Right.
They've both advanced in their careers beyond that.
But more so Miz, just because Miz has obviously been continuously working with the company. You know what I mean?
I do.
John Morrison left for a little while. Well, I don't know if did he leave or did they release him for a little bit?
I think they released him. Actually.
Well, anyways, but I
don't remember.
Essentially, what they did was obviously he was not there for a long time. So Miz really developed into his own. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't need Morrison. Essentially, Morrison technically needs the Miz, right? But not in this fashion. They did need to evolve. And I did agree with everybody on that. I'm not sitting here and saying that, it was effective. You know what I mean? But I think some people were being harshly critical of the Miz. But I will say this.
Are you talking about me?
You and other people. But I think that tonight just shows, which Miz always tends to do when he is in, like, these opportunities. He has a really good, like, promo. You know what I mean? Like, he just gets a really good promo going that reminds you of, like, hey, listen, like, I'm a contender, I've been a champion before. I'm going to use strategy. And I was thinking to myself initially, I'm like, why is he in the Elimination Chamber match? Like, why, like you just said, why is he in the match when he has the briefcase? He could easily just be sitting on the sidelines waiting for his opportunity, Right. So it makes total sense that he's going to be doing that now that he eliminated himself from the match, because he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. What does he have to gain, So it's like, at this point. But I thought he was really good. He was cowardly, but assertive and annoying. All the things that we adore about The Miz, he was. But he also, can get serious and, like I said, remind you of how far he's come. And just, in general, I feel like his character, and correct me if I'm wrong, always has that, like, he always feels like he has to prove himself, but to others, but he says, like, I don't need to prove myself. I've been here, like, it's always that, like, reassurance to everybody. I feel like that's always the thing that I remind myself when looking at him. I'm like, okay, he's always doing that, like, reassurance to the audience, to his opponents,
Right.
Which is good. I thought he was great. I thought he was great. Yeah. And I thought Drew McIntyre was great too, obviously.
I love Drew McIntyre. I think he's been great, through his whole entire run as champion. And it's still kind of amazing to me that... Is your computer not working?
I don't know why it's not turning on.
Oh, all right. Weird.
Very strange. Oh, here we go. All right.
See? I have the touch. Anyway. So yeah, this was a smart storyline. Miz actually finally doesn't look like a dickhead, and we can move on with our lives there. Okay, anyway, so Miz later on tries to get Adam Pearce to put John Morrison in the match. Obviously, we know John Morrison's on the run right now, so we don't want to do that.
He definitely has COVID. I'm not going to confirm Wrestleview's reporting it,
but
he definitely has COVID.
Yes, he
probably
does.
Mysteriously absent. It's like COVID.
I know. He winds up with Kofi Kingston confronting him, and then Adam Pearce just says, "Okay, if Kofi Kingston wins and he's in the chamber, and we might have Kofi Mania too." Or if The Miz wins and John Morrison is put into the chamber. I was like, okay, well, again, I can absolutely live with that.
I could live with those stipulations,
Yeah. So, I mean, I was like, wow, this should start off really well. Then we go to a 6-man tag, The Hurt Business, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander versus Lucha House Party and Riddle. This was actually a good 6-man tag. There was a couple of time spots involving Cedric Alexander and I think it was Grand Metalik. No, it was Lindsay Dorado. I'm sorry. So Dorado goes for like this moonsault, the springboard moonsault, and Alexander, I think, thought they were doing something else. So he was going into the ropes, saw Dorado going for this moonsault, and he's like, "Oh my god!" He tries to like jump in the middle of him, and like it looked so bad. I was like, "Oh my god, that looked awful. That looked really bad." And there were a couple other things like that just didn't look that were okay, but for the most part, I thought this was actually a pretty good match. Obviously with MVP being in there, he's like always like the fall guy for the Hurt Business.
For the Hurt Business, yeah, for sure.
So Riddle got him. After the match, Bobby Lashley attacked Riddle and the Lucha House Party on the ramp. I loved Lashley throwing Grand Metalik into Lindsay Dorado, just press slammed him right into him. Interesting to note, no Keith Lee tonight at all, and he's supposed to be in the United States Championship match on Sunday. He got
engaged recently.
Yes, he got engaged to Mia Yim, who has COVID.
So very well could have COVID.
Yeah.
What do you think they'll do then?
I don't know. I think because they're still promoting him, I think they're hoping that he'll, I don't think he has COVID. I'm not saying he does.
He might be exposed.
But if you're exposed, I think they're hoping that he'll just continue to test negative up until Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
And his fiance will not pass the COVID on to him, but we don't know. I was really looking forward to that match too. Bobby Lashley, Keith Lee, and Riddle. I thought that would actually be a pretty good match. But
still might happen.
We might wind up with Bobby Lashley versus Riddle, which is not exactly exciting to me.
You're not like pumped up about it.
No, and no Retribution tonight either, which was interesting as well. No Mustafa Ali, no T-Bar, no Mace, no Slapnuts.
I think a lot of the times too, it's like you said, it's not necessarily they have it, but they've been exposed and they're just doing their thing where they have to, quarantine. Like
I thought it would have been like probably would have made a lot of sense for like Retribution to interfere in the Kofi Kingston match, but they didn't do that. And no follow-up to like what was actually pretty good stuff with Mustafa Ali and Kofi Kingston last week.
Right.
So I don't know what that means.
Things are on a pause.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, everything's weird in this time still. Luckily, this vaccine seems to be working. We got a lot of people have already had their first dose. A lot of Americans have had their second dose already. So hopefully this keeps up. No other strains come out that will render these vaccines null and void, and we can continue moving forward. So we got Bad Bunny.
I just laugh at his name. You know what?
Bad Bunny.
So you know what's so funny about him? I did not know who he was. Like, I genuinely was like, who is this man? Like, what are they talking about? What is a Bad Bunny? And then,
he's apparently really big.
Yeah, right? Like,
I'm the old guy that doesn't know all this stuff.
I've never heard of him before. And I'm like, I was genuine, but now I'm seeing it everywhere. Like, now I'm actually, how everything targets you.
I went to McDonald's the other day, and the girl was wearing a Bad Bunny shirt, and I was like, oh, wow, okay.
He's a thing. So I find it very interesting that our breaking news for this evening.
What's the breaking news?
That he's our 24/7 champ.
That's not breaking news. That happened on the show. We're not breaking it on the show. It's just it's big
news.
Big news.
Well, okay, let's put it. Okay, in fairness to maybe his fans who are not wrestling fans,
they're not watching this show. They are not watching this show.
It's breaking news for them.
They ain't watching this show. I'll tell you that.
Do you think he'll come on SNL with the title?
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely think he's going to be on SNL with the title. Oh, my God. I'm just reading this thing that Jamel just put in there. He said he nearly passed out in his apartment. Turns out while repairing some stuff in his apartment, the guy turned the knob slightly and gas was leaking out. Had I lit a candle or anything. Bad day for Jamel. Wow.
Wait, jeez. Jamel? This happened to Jamel?
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about Bad Bunny for a second.
No. Good Lord.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. I'm glad to hear that. That everything turned out okay there.
My gosh, Jamel.
Wow. Goodness gracious.
Jamel, can you message me later? I need to know what's going on with you.
I Am Alpha says, in my area, 35 people died due to the COVID vaccine. It's crazy stuff. What vaccine was that? I really want to know that one. Was that Moderna? Was that Pfizer?
What is happening right now?
I don't know.
What?
Johnson
How did the chat get to this?
Well, because we were just talking about vaccines and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I got very confused.
Yeah, I would definitely like to know that. Roy Nemmer, who's, by the way, his SmackDown post show is killing it. He's 2 episodes
I love
in,
it.
he's killing it.
I love it.
We really did enjoy it. Roy was flying solo last week.
He's doing well.
He's doing an awesome job. He says Bad Bunny is big news. It made it onto soccer Twitter, even Latin community there. So there you go.
Really?
And Goosey's here. Goosey, hello.
Hey.
Congrats, Lacey Evans on her confirmed pregnancy. We wish it would have happened to Bad Bunny. Oh, I don't know what he's talking about there, but anyway.
I'm very confused right now because I'm not looking at the chat, so I really don't know what's going on.
That's okay. Anyway, Bad Bunny's our 24/7 champion. We'll definitely be seeing that thing on SNL, I'm sure. The tag match, Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans. I already kind of covered this. Lacey Evans is legitimately pregnant.
Okay, so
Victoria, you want to take this one?
Well, yeah, I just want to ask you, did anything else come out from the report at all with her being pregnant?
It's pretty much confirmed.
Okay, so one or two things, because I know you had, I briefly heard you upstairs talking about, like, if it's early in the pregnancy, she definitely has to be somewhat early, but I think that one or two things happened. I mean, it's not typical, but sometimes you can find out within, like, depending upon what kind of test you take, you can find out within days, which is not likely, but could have been. She also, I was actually watching a video today of this woman who she's pregnant, and throughout her entire pregnancy, she's legitimately lifting weights. She's really doing a lot of what she was doing prior to her pregnancy. And her doctor okayed her. You know, if you were physically fit and you are doing the things that you kind of do beforehand, and it's not like someone like me who, obviously, if I just got into a ring and I was pregnant with Liliana, it probably would not have fared well for me because I don't do that stuff. You know what I mean? That's not my MO. But if you're doing the things that you normally do, you're usually okay, you know, within the pregnancy. And also, she may have not known, because not to, you know, give a little medical analysis here, sometimes women still get a period while they're pregnant. So there's many different factors that could have, because, you know, people saying, oh, why is she wrestling? Or she may not have known. She literally might have just found out. Everybody's different. I'm just very curious to see more about it, how many weeks she is, and, you know, how quickly she found out, because obviously she's wrestling. But there are people who, like Paige's mom, she wrestled with Paige, you know,
this is true,
for a very long time. So sometimes your doctor's like, it's fine, you know, but she very well may not have known until literally today or, you know, whatever. So who knows? I'd be very curious to see.
It's true. You know, I didn't think that, think about Sarai Knight wrestling with Paige when she was pregnant. Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely that.
Literally, there are women who do their regular thing. I don't think they'll obviously have Lacey Evans continue to compete, you know, being the nature of the situation now. Generally, they don't. But
I mean, Jamel brings up a good point about Serena Williams competing and won a tennis open championship while pregnant. But when you're doing tennis, you're not taking bumps or getting, you know, kicked. Even a simulated kick to the midsection is still, you know, more than you'd want to take.
Yeah,
regularly.
I just don't think they now, like, her actually knowing
it's just
they're
so
not going to do
different
anything.
with,
It's
like,
different.
professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's different, you know. But
Quentin Walter says you have to subscribe to our channel or else you will get pregnant. And like our video, please. If you're in the chat room, like our video. We got Darren Gunter in the chat room tonight. He's Bugs Bunny, Bad Bunny, Easter Bunny, Playboy Bunny, Band, and Buster Bunny. I like it. Yeah, so that's Victoria's analysis from a woman.
I'm just saying,
you're not gonna have me mansplain it to you here.
No, there's many different things. She literally could have just found out today, and she's like, "Oh, wait, I'm 12 weeks. Oh my gosh."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think early, like
when I
have read early on the pregnancy that you could be pregnant, and, you know, like, the baby is, so small and it's just kind of stuck to there's really nothing to really hurt on it yet. There's nothing to hurt on it.
Used to it. Like her body is used to that,
yes.
That type of rigor. So it's like,
yeah,
she most likely would be okay if she had been pregnant for some time or early on in her pregnancy.
Right.
I mean, generally women also, and here's another thing, they don't generally announce it until, you're in the safe zone.
Yeah, until you get into your 12 weeks
so
at least.
Who knows?
But some people do.
Some people do. And teach its own,
So, yeah. So we send our congratulations to Lacey Evans and her husband and their daughter as well. Good for her. And, I just hope that she goes and has that baby and we can forget that they said that Ric Flair was the father. So that's enough of that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to think about it. I just want it over. Please make it end. Okay. Kofi Kingston versus The Miz followed this. That initially pissed me off. And then when I found out she was actually pregnant, I was like, okay, I can live with that. This was a great match. This was a really, really good match. This was a solid, strong match. Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. I have absolutely no complaints.
No, I've always thought that the two of them had good.
They have great chemistry.
They do. They really do.
They've wrestled each other a million times.
They have, and I really do enjoy them together. If they could continue, I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want them doing it all the time because then again, you lose that want and that
the specialness.
Yeah, exactly. But I do enjoy when they do actually work together. So
yeah, this was an excellent match. Obviously, the stipulation was if Kofi wins, then Kofi is in the Elimination Chamber, and if Miz wins, then John Morrison's entered in. Obviously, John Morrison's not around. I honestly thought that Retribution was going to interfere and cost Kingston the match, but that's not what they did. And then I was like, okay, well, Kingston's going to be entered into the Gauntlet match later on, so maybe that's when Retribution will interfere. But no Retribution at all. So a lot of missing components to this.
It is funny though. I don't know what their initial thought was. I don't know if it was always going to be that Miz wouldn't compete in the chamber.
I don't know.
And was it going to be that Kofi took his place? But Kofi's always in that position where he does get himself.
Yes, he does.
In that, in the running.
I know. Jamel's actually asking a good question here that I have seen floating around on the internet about Andrade. Anyone else concerned about Andrade? Is he okay? Is he alive? He is fine, actually. Last I saw, he takes a lot of pictures with Charlotte Flair. I mean, you can confirm that for us on her Instagram.
I'm gonna confirm right now, but yeah, I think he's fine. I haven't heard anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no. She posted a Valentine's Day photo with him yesterday. He's absolutely fine. For whatever reason, they just have not been using him whatsoever since the draft special. And he's the only person that went undrafted. My only guess is they are doing a hard reset with this guy. A super hard reset on him. Because his run this past year, he could have been really something great. The thing was Zelina Vega, they could have packaged him really well, and instead, because of the language disconnect, it's not like, oh, we can just give him a manager. No, of course not. You have to be able to speak for yourself. We don't believe in managers in this company unless you're Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar or somebody like that. So they tried to make him speak English, obviously not his first language. And what I think they're doing now is giving him this would be about 6 months off if the way I would do this and the way I believe it's going pans out. I believe Andrade is like somebody who's going to show up like night after WrestleMania and do something. He's gonna take some.
I can see that.
Take some classes, on the English language and come back strong. Obviously, getting rid of Zelina hurt him big time, but he was one of the people that was carrying Raw in the early stages of this pandemic. Him and Zelina Vega, and I remember we were exhorting how well Zelina Vega was doing on this show. And if you told me in April, when Zelina Vega was the first person out on Raw every week and cutting long promos and being really just kind of very, very entertaining, if you would have told me that she'd be released about 6 months later, I'd have said, you're crazy.
Yeah, like why would
she's
they
no
do
longer
that?
with the company.
Yeah.
Andrade's floating around doing nothing. Angel Garza is saddled with this crummy ass gimmick.
It only makes sense right now that they don't have. If they don't have anything legitimate for him, don't put him on television.
Yeah.
So if they it's fine that he's not on TV right now. He's fine, by the way. I just checked his Instagram as well. He's still frequently posting with Charlotte. So
Jamel says, imagine a Latin American version of the Hurt Business: Carlito, Andrade, Angel Garza, and maybe even Humberto Carrillo. Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about Cedric Alexander, how they rehabbed him for the Hurt Business, Humberto Carrillo kind of fits that mold as well.
Well, they were trying to do that, but then, things didn't. They had like a stable with most of those guys.
Well, I mean, Andrade, Angel Garza, yeah, and Zelina,
yeah.
But I mean, then you could add Carlito as like maybe a leader, maybe or whatever. They got a group, but they have a great group down in NXT. Legado del Fantasma. I know I say it like when I get to recap NXT on Wednesdays, but I just think Santos Escobar is just one hell of a performer. Great character. The guy has a great look. Speaks English really well. Can go in the ring. This guy is a star. If you look at him, you watch him go, you can see he has all the tools. It's like I would have Santos Escobar come up as fast as possible and saddle and put Andrade with him as his muscle. Angel Garza. Yeah, I would love to see like a Latin American version of the Hurt Business. I think that could be really great with Santos Escobar leading the way. Legado del Fantasma on the main roster. I'll sign up for that all day long. I think it's a huge disservice to just say that Santos Escobar is a cruiserweight, because he's much more than just a cruiserweight. Much more. Very, very talented guy. Super, super talented, actually. Anyway. So that's what's going on with Andrade. Let's see. We got Randy Orton backstage. He's cutting a promo. And it's interrupted by Alexa Bliss, who is sitting in the middle of a pentagram with 5 candles, and she was spreading ashes, allegedly the Fiend's ashes. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of Alexa Bliss in the pentagram. Can you talk?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something.
No.
I apologize. I don't know what to make out of this whole thing. I don't. I mean, I feel like we've just beat it to death with this idea of. It
was short and sweet, at least. I mean, it wasn't long enough to be like completely mind-numbingly offensive.
But still, it's still a little reminder that it's there.
Oh yeah.
That it's a brewing again. This whole reborn thing. Come on. What are we in for?
I don't know. God only knows what we could possibly be in for.
I don't know.
I'm not even trusting that they're gonna do Randy Orton versus The Fiend at WrestleMania is like the big blow off. I keep having this like sneaking suspicion now that they're gonna blow Sheamus and Drew McIntyre off to give us Drew McIntyre versus The Fiend at WrestleMania.
Please don't say something like that.
Can you imagine?
Please don't say something like that. Don't even put that bad juju in what's it called? Juju into the air. Don't even say stuff like that.
Yeah.
You really just said that?
I did.
If something like that happens, I will boycott. I will boycott. What the heck was that?
I don't know.
It's the Fiend. Oh, here he is, everybody.
No, it was our mini Fiend. Liliana's toys just all fell over there. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Mercy's upstairs, by the way.
She has way too many toys.
And never again. Nobody buy her toys.
We have way too many toys for this kid.
Nobody buy her toys.
I'm just tripping on crap all day long.
She was playing with the Fiend with Mercy, by the way, before. She loves Mercy. It's so weird.
Ay. So, It was fine. I mean, for what it was.
I know,
we all know that the Fiend is coming at Elimination Chamber. He's going to cost Orton the match. He's probably going to come from under the ring, do the Undertaker thing.
I know.
I don't care. At this point,
still.
I mean, at this point, it's they've really backed off from it. So all those people that are like, I mean, there's not a lot of them online now at this point, but all those people that were like, oh my God, the Fiend's the greatest thing in WWE. It's like, well, there's really no evidence to suggest that is
the case
empirically true. Like there's nothing that really suggests that, like, oh, the Fiend was like responsible for all these like really big numbers they were doing. In fact, the Fiend segments where they were placing were some of their lowest hours that they have done ratings wise. And some of those were weeks that they were not going against football, so you don't even have that excuse to fall back on.
High hopes for when Bray Wyatt returned.
It started off well.
It started very
It
strong.
started off well.
It started very, very strong. And the whole Firefly Funhouse shtick, like it was cool. It really was like this deep, disturbed, like twisted thing that was like, which again was fine.
No, of course. It was like, oh my God, like this is like the deepest character that they've ever done. You know, Bray Wyatt has failed so many times that he has this alter ego that he can tap into that can, you know, just make him, you know, more focused.
Yes.
But instead, the Fiend is now a different person.
It's not right.
We're supposed to believe that it's a different person. Nah.
He's like this mythical creature.
Yeah.
But
I know.
He's not.
He's not.
He's a person.
It's really, it's just strange.
Whatever.
It's just strange. I mean, we saw the guy get lit on fire. He's going to come back. I mean, at this point, I don't even care. I don't even care.
You're like, I don't even care.
The only thing I care about is that they're not dominating the show with this bullshit.
They're not focusing.
There was a little Fiend interference in this, you know, Gauntlet match, but it was so quick that it didn't bug me at all.
But,
like the same thing with the Royal Rumble. They did the thing with Alexa Bliss so fast. She was in and out real quick. They've been really kind of backing off on, you know, how heavy they've been going at this lately.
But what's scary
but when he comes back, who the fuck knows what
right,
happen?
that's the scary part. I fear that eventually, okay, right now they're not doing anything so focused on that. But what are we going to get in the future? I fear for the future.
I am a little scared.
And after what you just said, I hope none of that comes true.
Me too.
I hope none of that comes true.
Me too. I'll sign up for Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre.
I will sign up for literally anything but what you just said before.
Yeah. Anything is preferable to that.
Anything is, you know, so broad.
Although, you know, WWE might hear that and say, okay, well, we'll show you. Anyway, Lana versus Shayna Baszler. This is just a match. Shayna Baszler beats Lana by submission. You know, now that I really feel like this, well, number one, I always thought that this damn thing with Lana and Nia Jax was just garbage, and it was just like her being put through the table a million times.
Yeah.
It's like I never cared once, didn't care.
It was funny at first.
Even like it was funny, and then it just got stupid and stupider, and all of a sudden, like this feud went from being flatlined to peaking, and then back to flatline again with My Hole. The My Hole thing.
Can you really come back from My Hole?
No, My Hole is the peak. That was the best part of this entire thing. Watching all the memes this week with the My Hole stuff was hilarious. There was I think it was, somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room. There was a bidet company that was marketing like Nia Jax saying My Hole to, obviously, because a bidet cleans your hole.
Yeah, we know what a bidet is, okay, hon?
And it was, I mean, you know, like this thing peaked. So I'm hoping that after this Sunday, I'm looking forward to seeing this match. I love Naomi. I want good things to happen for her, even though there's a lot of angry people out there, and I wonder why they're angry. Some people, you know, just seem to get mad because she's something about Naomi that would make some people, that would trigger some people, and that say that she's not talented, that she's overrated.
Whoever said that, please come talk to me, because I will fight you tooth and nail on how Naomi is one of the best that they have. They just don't utilize her properly.
Oh no!
Bottom line.
Oh no! These people will say, "Oh no, she's utilized fine. You know, she fails every single time." It's like,
nope.
You seem to be angry for a different reason, sir. And that Confederate flag is kind of giving you away.
Oh.
Anyway, I want to see, you know, some things happen. Naomi and Lana. I don't know if they should win the tag team titles, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing this match, and I kind of hope that it's just the blow off of Nia Jax and Lana. But the My Whole thing, that was
that just
doesn't get any better than that. It's like and now Vince is gonna be like, see, My Whole humor works.
Don't you get upset for Shayna Baszler though, that this is what she's doing?
Not really. I mean,
no?
Not really.
You know,
Shayna Baszler,
when she came in last year, I was very excited, and now I'm just whatever over her.
Well,
and I don't know if that's like pandemic hitting or just. I mean, even before the pandemic, there were some things that were skeptical about the direction of her character.
Yeah. That's not a character that's going to work on a Vince McMahon produced television show. It's just not. You know, like if Paul Levesque had more of an influence on Raw, which he kind of does right now, which is why which is
why we're not getting
honestly
terrible Raws.
which is honestly the reason why I believe we're seeing an increase.
Improvement?
Well, I'm trying to speak about it. You know, like an increased influence of, you know, Lucha House Party taking off. You know, you're starting to see some more people that were kind of low on the totem pole getting some shots. Partly because Vince hasn't been around at these shows lately. He missed the Royal Rumble. I mean, his brother passed away, you know, just a few weeks ago, so he's been taking some time off, and I'm sure he's, you know, involved with the Peacock stuff as well. But I'm wondering because they're I mean, he still finalizes everything, but because he does have, you know, increased visibility at the arenas, if they're doing a few more things, you know, or people are getting a few more shots that they normally wouldn't get.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul. So what were we talking about just now?
Well, we were going into the next match.
Were we? Okay.
Yes.
All right, there you go. So anyway, the Gauntlet Match. AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, and Sheamus. This was about a solid hour of professional wrestling that flew by for me. I absolutely loved everything about it. It's just, you know, I can, like, if the Lacey Evans thing, let's just say it was fake, and it apparently reportedly is not fake. If the Lacey Evans thing was fake, I would still say the show is a complete and total thumbs up because they balanced it out with some professional wrestling. I can handle stupid storylines if there was an equal focus on, you know, putting out a good in-ring product as well.
Right.
Now, sometimes you can't do that on every show. We've talked about this before. You can't have a gauntlet match on every show. You can't even have a super long match on every single show.
Nope, definitely not.
But, you know, like putting the focus back on the wrestling and not just in throwaway matches. Like, you know, I'm thinking like Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee really kind of carried Raw Legends Night. Because I thought that match was really good.
Yeah.
This gauntlet match carried this show, but there were parts of the show that were actually very good. But this, like, put it over the top. Like, I cannot give the show a thumbs down.
I think the show had good direction. I think from the
beginning.
No,
it had good direction and good storytelling from the beginning. Yes.
It did. I think from the start to the end, you know, you had a couple things in between, but that's fine. And I'm okay with that, you know, but from the start to finish, it had a good direction. Mostly everything had a purpose tonight, which is what you want. You know, you want to see when things are happening, you just want to see like, okay, why is this happening? You know, when you understood why most of the things happened the way they did. So I have to say, like, overall, I mean, if they could really just balance out their shows, like you said, you can't have a gauntlet match every week. You can't have Legends on every week. You can't.
I don't want to have Legends on ever again.
No, you can't. You can't do things like that all the time. They're special for a reason, you know. And gauntlet match tonight served its purpose of being special and engaging, intriguing, what have you.
Right.
But you know, if they take that balance between like, okay, we'll do this one week, we'll do this one week, we'll do whatever, and like you said, just focus on the wrestling more times than not. And, you know, obviously you need Raw to tie in your storylines before your pay-per-views.
Of course.
That's important. You know, it's still a television show at the end of the day where they do have to, you know,
yes,
hold on that. But you got to have that balance. You really got to think about, okay, we haven't done this in a while. This might be cool. All right. And then we won't do it again for even longer because we don't want to like override. We don't want to, you know, beat a dead horse here, but things tonight and things were fairly simple, you know, and I think that's another reason why everything kind of worked out the way it did, because nothing was like overly dramatic.
Right.
Just happened, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like we don't need to be beat over the head with like, oh my god, look at this storyline has so many complex angles. No, it's just a straightforward storyline. Yeah. I can totally deal with that. I of course, you know, when they did when they're doing Sheamus Drew McIntyre at some point, I would have liked to have had a little more build for that, without question. You know, I think they should have built. They should have let that story breathe a little more, done more to show
Yeah.
that Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are friends. The only thing that shows that they were friends is that, Drew McIntyre wears a kilt and has a sword. But maybe I would love to see them have like, a brief tag team championship run, and then the cracks start forming. Just something a little more.
Yeah,
They
no, I know what
they
you
could have
mean.
dragged this out
Of course.
until after Chamber or something like that. But
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
but overall, it's a basic. It's a pretty simple storyline to understand, and one that a lot of people can relate to. Not certainly not a friend bro kicking you in the face for the WWE Championship, but someone who you thought was a friend who doesn't turn out to be a friend, and it upsets you. And our avatar in Drew McIntyre can actually do something about that, because sometimes we can't do something about it.
Oh, I wish I could have done something about it at certain points in my life.
Oh, I'm sure. Me too. Me too. I wish I could be like Omos and or Amos and chokeslam somebody over a barricade and stuff like that, like he did tonight. Anyway, so we actually had some good matches here. I really like the Kofi Kingston AJ Styles match to kick this off. Amos just randomly chokeslamming Xavier Woods over the barricade. I got a kick out of that one. But it was a smart match. Obviously Kofi Kingston was injured from earlier in the night. He had already wrestled The Miz and had hurt his leg. So AJ Styles dominated him on that, connects him with a phenomenal forearm, beats him. Out next is Drew McIntyre. It's like, wow, initially I heard the music and I thought it was Sheamus real quick. And then I realized, oh my God, no, it's Drew McIntyre. He's coming out right now.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what are they going to do when Sheamus comes out? Is Drew, initially my thought was like, Randy Orton's going to come out, at some point and get Drew McIntyre either disqualified so that they don't do Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. But I was wrong. Actually, there was a lot of just fun stuff, and I like that I wasn't able to guess what was coming next. It's more fun that way. Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles, that was a great match. That was a really, really great match. They have great chemistry together.
Yeah, they do.
And I would have liked to have seen them have one more match. I would have rather have seen AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble over Goldberg. Because we had AJ Styles and Drew McIntyre in a gimmick match at TLC, but I want to see them in a straight up match.
Yeah, like an
seeing what they can do.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
And if it was that good tonight, imagine what they would have done at a pay-per-view. See, and not that the TLC match was bad, but then when it was actually really good. But then you had Miz in his goofiness being thrown into that match. And it kind of took away from it a little bit. I would have liked to have seen Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles straight up.
Yeah. I think it's so funny with these individuals. There's so many different things you can do with them. There are actually so many different storylines and matches and things that you could do with these individuals in particular. And they can't all pan out at once. Mm-hmm. But, you would like to see, but the flip side to that is that a lot of good can come out of that too. So maybe at one point we will see a more serious storyline match, serious with those two. So who knows? Right. In the future.
We shall see. Even Drew McIntyre versus Jeff Hardy was pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
I
enjoyed it.
I cannot recall, Drew McIntyre facing Jeff Hardy really at any point, since Jeff Hardy's been back.
I wouldn't know, yeah.
I could probably look it up, but, Jeff Hardy still has it at his age, even though they seem to be backing off on him now. I get it. He's older, he's definitely slow to step, but he's still really good. And he
came in hard tonight.
And he was great in this match.
He came in.
He was aggressive.
Full force, yeah.
He was, him and McIntyre, I thought worked together way better than I thought they were going to work together.
That's
way
what
better.
I'm saying. What's interesting about these individuals is they have a very unique way of working together, but they all worked together.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah. I thought that was an excellent match. Drew McIntyre, that Claymore kick, I wish that they gift it, because he absolutely Jeff Hardy didn't even put his hands up, just took the Claymore kick right in the face. That was such a Jeff Hardy thing to do. It was really awesome. And at this point, we still had 2 more people to go, and it was about 10:45 Eastern. So Randy Orton's out next, and they barely did anything before Alexa Bliss's image replaced all of the people in the Thunderdome, and and Orton was counted out.
I'm sure Daniel loved that.
Daniel, absolutely. I'm sure Daniel was like all over him. Oh my God.
He was like, oh
I got to get down to the Thunderdome right now. This is the best. I wish I could have a million Alexas all around me. So that was fine. It was so quick. It actually, and it wasn't like that outlandish where it's like, oh my God, it's a video trick.
Well,
like that.
Exactly. It's realistic.
That
so
one's
that's
more
fine.
realistic. Like, where they kind of hack the production truck.
Absolutely.
And,
that's not.
I just, I think the reason why I don't like The Fiend is because they call this era that we're in right now, the reality era. And there's just nothing realistic about The Fiend. Finally, that sends out Sheamus, and McIntyre is just beaten down, exhausted. He's had his knee worked on by AJ Styles. He's just been his midsection worked on by Jeff Hardy. He's all over the place, just really hurt. He's been in the match for over a half hour. Sheamus attacks him from behind. This was just really good.
Yeah.
They actually had it was quick. Sheamus dominated him for most of it. They had a little bit of a back and forth, but Sheamus dominated him for the most part. Sidesteps a Claymore kick, connects with a Bro kick. Sheamus will be the final entrant into the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. Just getting this little taste of Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre, which I was really surprised they gave away a potential pay-per-view main event on Raw like this.
Mm-hmm.
It left me wanting to see more.
Yeah.
I really, really like this.
Which is what you want to see, which is what you want to happen.
Yeah.
Ideally for a show.
I thought it was really, really good.
They really, with the two of them, you can tell that there is an actual connection there.
There's chemistry.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a couple things in this match that the announcers didn't pick up on that I really liked that they were doing. Like they really wrestled. Like they only had about 7 minutes or 8 minutes to do this match, and there were some things that were done in there that were like callbacks to things that they had done in the past. Especially when Sheamus was driving his knee into McIntyre's jaw. Now, in the fall, the thing was, Randy Orton punt kicked him 3 times, and Drew McIntyre had a broken jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheamus was really laying into that, and McIntyre was holding his jaw for half the thing. And the commentators never said one peep about him having a previously broken jaw and it's recently healed or whatever. It's like, come on.
Yeah, they missed that type of stuff.
But really good storytelling, for those that have been paying attention. They had some things in there that they kind of saluted those that actually care and pay attention to these things.
I really, really like them together. I really like the direction of this. Even if it is like short term, it didn't get the long-term storyline that maybe it deserved. I still very much enjoy this.
Maybe it still will. But
it
the
will.
build to it won't.
No, but that's okay. If the payoff is good even right now, that's okay. I can forgive it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This was just, and I like, again, logically it made sense. McIntyre didn't just come out and was like all of a sudden he's he's fine.
Well, he was definitely kipping up a few times during this match, but
but no, for the most part he was beaten.
Yeah. No, it was really
sense.
well done.
Sheamus
picks up a win over him. And I got to say, I am really, really looking forward to Elimination Chamber. I really am. We were at the last Elimination Chamber.
It makes me sad.
So there's that. All right, everybody. What do you think of this show? Do you give it a thumbs up, thumbs down in the chat room? On Twitter, which I will show you in a moment. Make sure that it's all on here. They only have it as a 65% thumbs up here, which this show was actually better than that, but maybe some of the other stuff kind of turned them off. I thought I just thought this Gauntlet match was excellent. I really did. There was multiple good matches in it and some really good storytelling throughout. And good storytelling at the beginning of the show, good storytelling with Miz and Kofi Kingston. Lacey Evans thing I could have lived without.
But congratulations to you.
But congratulations to her on a real life thing.
On a real life
but the Ric Flair insinuation I could have absolutely lived without.
Yeah.
But I think that show's getting dogged. I think the show's getting dogged right now. I think it should even be even higher. Is it the best one we've ever seen? No.
No, but
It certainly was not the worst Raw I've ever seen. So chat room, tell us what you think. You give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Jamel gives it a thumbs up. I am Alpha. Thumbs up. I enjoyed Raw today. Billy Hefner, way up. Way up. All right. We're waiting for a few more here. Jamel says, holy crap, I forgot this era of WWE was supposed to be called the New Era. That branding did not last long. No, it didn't. Andrew Elder, the Wrestleview Fiend, says this show always thumbs up.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
Still on my list. That's okay, though.
Quentin Walters, Raw 2 thumbs up. Raw review 5 thumbs up. Post Raw 11 thumbs up.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Oh, you guys are great. Darren Gunter gives it a thumbs up too. See, this is a good show. It's a really good show.
I think the percentage will go up more once more people vote.
I think so.
People may have also not watched. Like, there's some people who are watching it right now, So
yeah, this is true. This is true. All right, everybody. That's all we got for you this week. Wrestleview Post Raw number 115. Thank you so much for joining us. This Friday, make sure you check out the SmackDown Post Show with Mr. Roy Nemmer and a special guest, I'm sure. You have to check this show out.
Awesome.
Roy is doing an awesome job. I loved being on his show. His is the absolute final show before Elimination Chamber. And then this Sunday, make sure you tune in for the Elimination Chamber review on Wrestleview.com, as well as a Wrestleview Live immediately following the show. And then Post Raw number 116 next Monday.
With us.
There you go. All right, everybody. I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Have a great week. We'll see you later.